I typed your symptoms into the thing up here and it says you could have network connectivity problems.
That's the button I'm looking for.
Hey.
Hey, what up, buddy?
Okay. So,
I actually had some starting points, but you can go right on ahead.
Oh no, absolutely.
Okay, so Eric was privy to this information because I was just on a fucking tangent, bro.
He started titrating while you were deafened. So
I
was like,
didn't
hold on.
realize you couldn't hear, so I was like, oh, okay. Anyway, so what I'm kind of envisioning here, at least in terms of like a guiding force, right? Is trying to go back down to the basics, boil everything down, and take a look at it from a long-term plans perspective. Figure out where you want to go with it, get your ideas on paper so that you can kind of solidify them somewhat.
100%.
So right now I just have OneNote open. I mean, I'm still streaming it just so that we can all be on the same page, literally.
Pull that up.
But it shouldn't really matter what software we use, what we're planning on doing with it, how we want to go about it. It doesn't matter. And in fact, if it gets big enough, I'll just make a whole another fucking notebook for this. But
makes sense.
What I can say is, it seems like you just nuked the whole fucking thing. You're like, all right, back to basics. So,
ish.
Assuming that's the case, then let's take it from the top. I mean, what are you trying to make? What is the dream?
So long term, what we'd like to achieve, or at least what I would like to achieve, is a first person action shooter style MOBA at its essence. That being said, I do think some of the mechanics found in MOBA games are detrimental to the FPS environment. I think that they break that immersion that FPSs bring to the table, and like that's the whole reason people play first person games, is to get that I'm in this feeling, you know what I mean? Mechanics and MOBAs are trash. Yeah, there you go. But
I mean, yeah,
like some of the progression bits, some of the way they slow the game down and make it more mechanical and less tactical, they do cause issues, and that's I think a big reason why Overwatch is the way it is. But I still think we can get a little closer to a MOBA than Overwatch did, and also a little closer to a first person shooter than they did as well.
Okay, so would it be inaccurate to say pseudo blend of Overwatch COD?
Sure, yeah, I think that's a viable description.
Pseudo is EU, by the way.
Oh yeah, you're probably right.
I thought it was PS.
Oh yeah. Pseudo. Did I fuck it up?
No, that looks right.
EU, damn it.
oh, jeez. I'm dyslexic too, it's fine.
Yeah, I did the fucking Linux command sudo.
Mm-hmm.
But if that's what you're aiming for, all well and good, that's fine.
Mm-hmm.
Eric, are you on the same page? Because I don't have a horse in this race, man. I mean, you guys are the ones putting this together. As long as you guys, being the designers, are on the same page.
This is more Jay's game than anything with being the prime development. Well, I do definitely agree with the logic. That's where we've always been coming from for the standpoint of where it's supposed to go. The biggest thing we need to remember is how we want to actually engage the which mechanics of the MOBA do we want versus what don't we want.
That makes sense.
So, on this same kind of line, then, what we want, or at least,
I think to answer that
mechanics.
question, we should first break down what makes a MOBA a MOBA.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
So,
okay.
Your opinion, then, Eric, what are the important mechanics of a MOBA?
That's what I was first thinking is when I think of a MOBA, I'm thinking of some sort of either like a defense system, and there is usually a ultimate like usually there it's always like the last base. I can't remember like what the overall phrase for that would be, but usually it's like the Nexus or the Titan. That
Okay.
last objective that has to be destroyed. Heck, even Warlander has something like that.
In Overwatch, it's the payload.
Mm-hmm.
So, oh my god, if I can type.
Defensive
Um,
towers, yep.
Towers,
mean-
yeah, at least quotes, yeah. Because
I
it
mean,
doesn't
it can
have
be
to a
whatever you
tower.
want,
Yeah,
right?
just something that stops you from just walking through the whole map.
Yeah. Okay. So this is kind of the same thing, so I'm just gonna delete that.
Yeah. It means we also need a we'll
Usually
just call
there's
them
fodder. There's fodder, there's minions, there's something to gain experience in a true MOBA,
yeah, in a
right? Like
pure
League
MOBA.
or something like that.
and that's something that we also discussed, I believe, was how to go about the fodder. And then
Right, but if we're going ground up here, it's like we're pretending we've never touched the project.
right.
We're just fodder is a piece.
Yep.
Okay, so if you're gonna include XP gains and gold gains, we need to include the fact that there is progression to these games.
Progression with time in like for like power level or something, like
with the income.
It's not even necessarily that it's tied to time though, because in some games you don't get passive, and in some games you only get passive.
Well, I'm not saying that as gold, XP, none of it, right? What I am saying is from a fundamental standpoint, because Overwatch, I think we can all agree isn't really a MOBA, right? Like it's not. What I am saying is in League, it's not always linear, but as time goes on, your power levels of all the characters, maybe not necessarily power, but whatever items you build, you get stronger as time progresses.
True.
When you play Smite, same deal. When you play, I guess
even Heroes of the Storm,
I come
you
back
get
to
your
Overwatch because
abilities.
they did something unique with Overwatch. They took a microcosm out of another game and made an entire game out of it. To the same extent, that's exactly what Valorant did.
That's fine, but those aren't MOBAs, right?
They
those
took
are
a piece,
tactical shooters.
They
right?
took a piece of a MOBA and turned it into a tactical shooter. They took the team fight of it. I don't want to make Farming Simulator, but like that would also be to an extent the same thing.
Every game could have an alien character, and they might take that from another game and take inspiration, but that doesn't make the games the same.
No, they took a piece of that gameplay though.
Do you have like an example? Or
they
for
took
instance?
the team fight out of MOBAs and they made the entire game that team fight.
Okay, so
somebody
like
else who might have done
fighting
this.
as a team.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yep. No,
as
that
well
makes sense.
as solo play.
Yeah, there should definitely be some sort of solo play.
Yep.
Which I feel like is something that Overwatch completely is missing.
Yes, unfortunately.
But I mean,
yeah, we
that's
can include
fine,
the typically
right?
late game. Yeah, I would
Well,
say that these are
just
important mechanics
what
to
happens,
the game,
right?
though. Yeah, 100%. What's another thing that happens in MOBAs? Because my brain goes to in most MOBAs you can teleport
we're
back
forgetting
to
the
spawn.
obvious one, the Nexus. We mentioned it. We just haven't.
Game-ending
objective.
Yes.
Yep.
Right. Yep. There needs to be some sort of method of returning to your spawn.
Okay, so death timer,
Not necessarily death timer.
Oh no,
but like
that
the-
I think
like
is
the
another
recall.
important mechanic though. The death timer extending as the time goes on.
Death timer extending as character power progresses, I think, is the better way to put it.
That's fair. Well, it depends on the game, but death timer extension.
Yeah.
Increases with
I don't think we
put a
want to
question mark
specify
there.
what we
game
want to.
state.
Yeah. That's perfect.
Sure.
Well put.
So
And then recall.
Yeah.
yeah, that's
some
pretty
sort of
standard. Some sort of recall mechanic.
yeah.
Anything else we're missing?
Differing items for build paths.
Just do multiple methods of progression.
Well,
That's fair.
okay, that's fine. But I don't. I think that's too vague.
That's the
Well,
You know what I
idea
mean?
here,
not
though.
not all MOBAs use items or build paths. Like
Well, what I'm
Vainglory, for instance, didn't have a ton. It was just ability trees you could take.
Same with HOTS.
Okay, that's fair. Okay, so
Just deferring build paths should,
yeah, I like that.
because it'll be a
Yeah.
matter of how we want to do that short term later, but long term we just need something.
Is there a third point to that, or
Ability. Ability progression.
wait. Mass. What do they call it? Fuck.
Oh no, I meant in that
Yeah, I
itemization
know.
line.
But
Gotcha.
this is
This,
still.
no, you're right. You're right. That's still
I'd say
a
that's its own
point.
point.
Abilities are definitely always in a MOBA,
Yeah.
and
Of
they
some
always
point,
have
right?
some sort of progression to them.
Well, abilities are in most games as a general, but either way, it's like another category.
Yeah.
Anything new?
The
we're
characters are very
Yep.
unique in every single MOBA. Like they're
Okay.
very, very specific and unique from each other.
Unique characters, and there's usually roles to them.
I don't know if roles are predefined when people are building MOBAs though. Like generally
just say
speaking,
that's fair. I just mean usually.
I feel like that's something we like. I don't know. I feel like that's something that comes to pass like as the game develops
I can see that.
in a lot of cases, and it's not in every case.
So would you agree special abilities per character?
Variety
kinda put
and
variety.
uniqueness. Yeah,
Yeah.
I like it.
Okay, so any more on the off the top of the head? We can always come back. It's fine.
No, agreed. I think I'm good. You got anything, Eric?
Yeah. I think these are the main
If something
important
pops up,
parts.
we can come back.
Cool.
But so
So
let's just say from a MOBA, what things from here, this list, do you want to take from a MOBA to build your game around?
the fighting as a team, I feel, is important.
Okay. So actually, you know what? I'm gonna do this a different way because I feel like there is a much better way to do this. So we're actually gonna go like this, and we'll say,
Oh, and just check off the ones we want.
yeah, I think that's better.
I like it.
So fighting as a team. Okay.
And I feel like the solo play missing from Overwatch stops a lot of high skill players from playing it, so I think I want to include that as well.
Well, that's kind of a staple for the MOBA.
Game ending objective.
I mean,
Death timer.
timers, recalls.
So
probably.
recall is specifically. I'm not
I
sure.
know I made some executive decisions here, but do you disagree with any of these check marks?
So tiered defense system, cool. Fodder, I'm not sure.
Well, I mean, aren't there gonna be random shit coming into your lane that you're gonna be killing to get golden XP? There's your fodder. I feel like you're checking every box in one shape or form.
I agree. with Cole on a small standpoint.
I mean, maybe implemented in a unique way. That's fine.
Exactly. That's my point.
But you're still checking every box.
No, I can't disagree with them.
Okay. So let's say, what is a first-person shooter?
Click to kill.
I mean, yeah.
You're not wrong.
Mm-hmm. Run.
Yep, I was gonna say first person.
I
Guns.
mean, speed depends on the game, but I mean, okay. Like fast pace.
Not always.
That's true, but like we
No.
were that's what I think Jay implied. I mean, of course this varies with games.
It's realistically what I'm implying.
Guns, weapons.
Yep, guns.
Can't have an FPS without guns.
There's
I don't know,
usually
Halo did
some
okay.
sort of movement
That's
abilities.
still technically guns. That's just alien guns.
True.
Sorry,
Usually
what?
some sort of movement abilities.
Okay. Yeah, fair enough.
I wouldn't
Not that
necessarily say that. I mean,
even a
okay.
sprint is a considered a movement ability.
Yeah, no,
though.
that's what I was referring to.
Okay.
It is a way to
Sprinting,
character
dolphin
movement.
diving, jumping.
Human-like movement style is how I'm gonna say that.
Okay.
So that encompasses sliding, jumping, mounting,
mantling.
crouching.
Fair.
Gun stats.
Attachments.
Yeah.
Honestly, rinse, repeat.
Yeah.
Oh, usually there's some sort of utility.
Oh yeah, utility.
Okay, so utility, grenades,
Smokes, etc.
Oh my god.
Are you okay, buddy?
My hands are having aneurysms, and I know they don't have brains, but God, it feels like it. Okay, so you're literally saying, okay, minus maybe gun attachments.
No, include gun attachments. I'd like to put those in the build tree.
And then no kill, die, repeat. It's not like you get instant respawns. It's not like you're gonna be going through and just run and gun the whole fucking game.
Because when I think of an FPS, usually it is a set timer. It's just sometimes where you get into it. So yeah, I agree. No, I'm agreeing with the
kills, time, capture.
Yep.
Modes. These are like game modes and stuff. So like either you do like based on a certain number of kills, a certain time, some sort of objective to capture, which we're not.
They have a variety of game modes.
Are they though? It's click head, but like maybe I stand around this post.
Well, various modes are still various modes.
Okay. Like high reaction time focused.
That's true.
Oh wait. Are you planning on first person here?
Mm-hmm.
No.
Okay.
First person shooter is a micro game, and MOBA is a macro gameplay focus.
Which kind of makes sense. Yeah. So this is micro, solo play only. Kind of. I would put that in air quotes.
Realistically, yeah. I mean,
like
some
you
games
do
kind of
rely on your
vary
team,
on it,
but they're not going to help you click someone's head.
Right.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's fine.
Yeah, that's fine.
So, I mean, obviously, MOBAs have both,
Yeah,
right? They
we
do have
want
micro
both.
in lane, but they also have
macro.
macro. So the keyboard layout on this is different than my work laptop, and I don't do a lot of typing on this keyboard. I just hold WASD. So I'm like, how do I type? So I mean, yeah, you're still gonna be keeping some of the micro gameplay. I mean, the reaction time to some extent, but it's different in MOBAs, right? It's entirely different. At least I feel like this to encapsulate this point, it shouldn't be checked, but you could if you wanted to.
Agreed. I think it should be more game sense oriented than reaction time focused.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, then that would kind of fall under macro
Agreed.
here. So, but okay. So basically, you're trying to do a nice blend. Okay, you're basically just taking both, removing the things you don't like, adding things that you do.
Pretty
So,
much.
Assuming that you want all of this, that is checked anyway. What is gonna make your game stand out? Why is your game better than the rest? And if you don't have an answer right now, that's fine, because I'm asking this question so that we can be thinking about this as we go.
I mean, personally, I haven't seen a playable game of this kind yet. Period. And I've looked.
I guess you could look at it from a lens where Paragon, Smite, the third person game modes were just first person, right?
Yeah.
But if that's the case, why is that different? Why is that so different? I understand that first person does change a lot of things, right? And you got to think about like the FOV and how that shrouds your and gives you tunnel vision sometimes. But why will this work? Because if you can't justify it to me why this will work, how am I supposed to stay on board? I mean, it's not an episode of Shark Tank, but you got to believe in this.
Immersion would have to be the most focused aspect.
Okay.
If you're not in this game, we fucked up.
Okay. So you want immersion. That's fine. There's plenty of ways to achieve that. That's nice and broad. I love it. What else? Because people aren't going to play games for immersion. They're going to go play VR.
Semi-valid, but I get motion sickness off VR, so.
Well, you at least understand what I'm driving at. So I'm asking these tough questions because I want to hear from you. But it's okay to say, I don't know right now, but it's a question that I want to ask up front. All right. So we can come back to that. That's okay. So we have we want to achieve a few things already. Some gripes about why you don't like MOBAs sometimes. And then we kind of have some general thoughts. So I guess we can transition to where are we now? Because we talked about where we want to be. So where are we now?
So where we are now, we have a Steam store active. I have AWS servers sanctioned already. I just don't have a build live. We have an active downloadable executable on Steam currently, and I actually just let the rest of our testers in so they can see how broken the game is. No, seriously, like every gun that you drop when you die has a collider. and you can't
man.
walk through it.
That's awesome. I think should be a feature, not a bug.
Yeah, definitely. No, remember we
Wait,
talked
wait,
about
actually,
that early
Cole's been
on.
fighting for that for yeah. I was gonna say Cole's been pushing for that for a hot minute.
When you
Game mode,
die,
for
build
every
the
time you
map.
die,
Start on a
it's
flat
just a wall.
surface.
Yeah, man, I don't see the problem with this. This gameplay is
No, it does
intended,
actually sound sweet, but we had to have mantling working first, and I just got that working. So like, we
Right.
could now if you wanted to, but we're here. We're doing this. Let's finish
Yeah.
this, and we'll do that because that'll be easy once we've done this.
Agreed.
All right. So we got a build active, store active, all this other stuff. This is fine. This is managerial stuff. This is cool.
Yep. Okay. So next bit, we have a working first-person shooter. With a multitude of game modes. We have base models, we have animations, we have combat systems, we have shooting, we have objectives, we have bots. We have rounds available if we want to use those. I have a cash, a point, an XP, and account XP system working.
Cash point.
Capture kills. I think you have already ready. And models looks okay. So and then rounds. You mean as in like round system to keep going, stuff like that.
Yeah, but also like search and destroy game mode working.
Oh my god, I should have just typed it out. I'm like searching for the and key or ampersand. Fuck. So this is where we're at.
We have characters and classes.
Okay.
In one feature branch, we do have a weapon shop working. And that should be very, very simple to switch over to an ability shop. We have an ability system working. I guess you could put that under combat systems.
Yeah, I mean, that's fair.
We have kill streaks right now. I'm still not sure how we want to handle ultimates. That's originally how I was going to handle ultimates, but I don't think I like that anymore.
Oh, right.
Don't miss all.
Maybe we leave the kill streak system in place for like certain classes.
That's weird.
If you get a double kill as a assassin or whatever, maybe you get your bombs back or something. I don't know.
Okay.
Right.
Well, let's go through this before we start going too far. So these are all great. Managerial, awesome. Shows some love. So we have a working first-person shooter project with all this sort of stuff in here. Let's go through the list. What do we keep? What actually matters? Because yeah, we have all this stuff, but this isn't the meat and potatoes, man.
No.
This is side projects and stuff. I mean, like, none of these game modes are going to be kept.
Probably just as customs or casual game modes.
Maybe. Capture would probably not work. Kills, maybe like an arena style thing.
Yeah, we've got like domination, we've got capture the flag, we've got search and destroy, we've got I don't even remember what the game mode is in, I think it's Battlefield, but it's like a grief system. You keep spawning until you run out of tickets or you blow up the enemy base.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so like basically Smite arena.
Kinda, yeah. But with a search and destroy style objective.
Okay, so do you agree with what I checked?
I think click the rounds as well for our joust game mode that we discussed.
Yeah, but you're gonna play, and then what? You're gonna play again, start over? That's a different round, right? Why would you do that in a MOBA?
Because that other game mode isn't necessarily a MOBA.
Okay, so can you describe the game mode? I'm just trying to align here because I don't understand.
The tower style game mode we discussed, where you break through the floor to move to the next section.
But
Um,
okay, so it's not so much of a hard checkbox. It's like a soft checkbox. Then.
Yeah, it's more
Okay.
for game state purposes, I think, than like actually something the user's going to experience.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that's about it for checking shit off.
Okay. Some of the characters are going to be reused, I'm sure. The
Yeah, but not the
classes will
models.
be sort of reused, and that's why I said no to
Right.
the models. The animations for reloading and stuff like that will probably reuse some of those.
But not all.
Um,
And we still need more.
well,
Mhm.
yeah,
As
but
we make
you
new
know.
content, we'll need more animations.
Absolutely.
Okay, so this is fine. I like this. Let's move this up to the top here. What is a MOBA? What's a first-person shooter? Let's put this stuff up here so we can get some good thoughts there. Okay. So then let's go a little bit farther. Okay, so we can kind of see these long-term plans hopefully on the side. Let's do a wireframe. Okay. And stop me if you have a better idea on how we should approach this. But a wireframe, at least in my mind, is kind of the bare bones. It's base wires, 2D objects. Okay. The literal what you need to get from point A to point B, no fluff. That's it.
So
Okay.
we are
I
a
don't care
cube,
about
everything is a
animations. I don't
cube,
care about
everywhere
anything.
is a cube, I get it.
Yep. So what do we need to get from point A to point B? And I'll check things off as we go for things that we have and things that we don't.
Okay, so game start, you have nothing, and you can do nothing other than move around, obviously.
Okay, so some sort of like waiting area type deal.
The spawn room.
Yeah. Okay.
But, like, think of any MOBA you've ever played. You don't start with any abilities. You don't start with any items. You can't do
We
anything.
do, but
No,
not your whole thing.
no,
Right?
no.
Not your whole
Technically,
kit.
no. Jay's right though. You technically start with nothing, and you have to grab your initial items and your initial ability when you load in.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, you could view it that way as well.
I think
Okay.
we should.
So still sticking with the MOBA style there for that. So we'll do this then.
MOBA-like start.
style.
Yeah.
Okay.
Cool.
So we need to kind of get that
So then
squared
you
away.
need to buy your starting items, and in this case, you would grab your first gun.
Okay. Buy first gun ability.
Oh, yep. There we go.
And then,
Get my
do
fingers,
we
man.
want to make them walk the lane?
I mean, that's typically what happens, but I mean, something like Paragon to give a little bit of assistance to like help boost you there isn't such a bad idea, but
I think a get to lane choice should be available, but we need to we can leave that open ended for how we want
okay,
to
so just get
them
to
there.
lane. Yep, okay.
Yeah.
So once you're in lane, we need to get more money so we can get bigger guns, right? Do we want to make
Right.
them fight each other immediately, or do we want to farm early lane?
Well, I do think that that's a highly dependent decision, and you're the call on that. I mean, you could view it from multiple camps, but I'm going to boil it down to two. One is the traditional MOBA approach, basically just farm minions and pressure each other a little bit in the first 2 minutes, 3 minutes, right?
Okay.
Or, you don't have to do that. You could force them to fight each other and just basically say, all right, minions don't spawn until 5 minutes. Have at each other. Like, literal fucking Fight Club. Like, you make the game. You can do whatever the fuck you want. You want them to fight the final boss within the first minute? Sure, go ahead. But like, it's your decision. How do you want to do it?
I've got a thought on it actually.
Okay.
If we want it to be unique, but we want to still push for engagement, what if we had like everyone's all into a lot of people are into like extractions lately, and that's something that I've even been playing a lot of recently. And for some reason, my
Tarkov
brain
or
goes to like,
yeah.
what if you had like nodes that you had to tap for the currency in lane? And you can fight. You've got like they're just kind of, well, at least
Micro
early game,
objectives.
yeah. And you can fight over those micro objectives to get early on money. It's kind of like my first thought was like having like
Okay,
mine
so
veins,
It's like
So-
having jungle camps, but without them fighting back.
and you're just fighting over them.
so totem. You're saying totem from
Yeah,
Smite.
yeah. Totems,
That's fine.
totems with an S. I kind of like that.
Well, all MOBAs have that to some extent, right? Scuttle Crab,
But
things like that, right?
Yeah,
That
but
means that
but
you have
he's
something to do in your
implying
downtime.
we start the game with only totems active.
Okay, so you're giving them something to fight over, and you make the
Mhm.
reward for winning that objective something that's super huge
We're
or
talking like a
valuable.
bunch of smaller totems throughout your lane initially, so that way you can start farming those out for some gold, and you have to fight your laner for the rest on their side.
All right, so I'm kind of picturing in my head.
Mhm.
Let's just say that there's a whole bunch of targets on the back wall. And it's almost like dodgeball in a way, right? You don't want to get hit, but you want to stop them from hitting your targets, and then you're trying to do the same to them. Every target they get, maybe they either spawn a minion that'll help them. Maybe it's not a direct like gold XP thing,
But if it spawns
or
the minion,
whatever, right?
doesn't that give the XP and gold to the enemy team?
What if that minion doesn't? And I'm just saying that as an example, thinking outside the box. It doesn't have to be that. I'm just spitballing, all right?
Or make
But
it minuscule and a pain in the ass.
or it spawns a bigger minion, like that could be something that helps snowball your lane, right? If I knock off, let's say there's 8 targets and I hit all 8 of them, and at the end of that scrum time, then you get a big boy that tries to shit down your throat. Doesn't matter.
Well,
But
I actually really like that idea
Yeah, me
because like,
too.
what if instead of making it the early game gold that you're getting out of it, make it kind of like a Smite's Siege, where you're actually
yeah,
hitting those pockets toward like a little like siege something to come down your lane to push toward the enemy,
I like that. Yeah, I
and that
mean,
could potentially drive team fights when that bigger objective is hit, and it's more on a personal level instead of a team level. It's like, I collect this many, so I get to put it down whichever lane I am in.
maybe you get, it doesn't even have to be a bot. It could be you won the initial battle, therefore you get I don't know. I was thinking a sentry gun, but that's obviously a little bit OP. But
Yeah.
like something like that is like maybe it shoots once every 10 seconds or something. You can nerf it to the ground. I don't care.
So
But like
something more
it could,
defensive versus
yeah,
offensive.
it could be either really. The sky's the limit on that. Or you could choose. Give the players a choice.
Maybe the
That's
nodes are different colors.
Exactly.
or
But
make the nodes there's a separate currency that you can purchase that
No,
special item.
that's too far. That's too far.
Okay.
We're like, part of my issue with MOBAs is their complexity to get into, and the
Okay.
more things you have to learn to get into the game, the harder it's going to be to pick it up and play.
Well, first-person shooters are like, who hasn't seen one, right? You
Exactly.
know what it is, right? So it's not very complex from that nature. So I think you have some budget there, if that makes sense.
A little bit, but
Yeah.
adding additional complexity to a MOBA is not something I'm after, I guess.
I think this is unique. This is very
Well,
unique.
It's more so, what if you made it an unlockable usability? Because like you still get those points the same, but it just says like, oh hey, you hit 15 nodes. Go back to the shop and choose your upgrade, or you choose your like enhancement, or whatever we
Yeah.
want to call that thing.
Yeah, you could
to
get a free
be.
ability upgrade if you wanted,
Like
or
you could choose the
deployable.
offensive or the defensive thing at that point.
Just don't like separating the currency.
It's
It's
not
not a
necessarily a
currency. That's a
separated
reward,
currency.
right? That's
It's
like I
just
opened a loot crate and this is what I got. You just get a reward for
you
doing
just
good.
make it a hidden thing, except for when players hit that cap in the shop. Like it'll just be on the side of the shop, and it's just hidden. And then once they hit it, it's there. Then they activate their thing, and then it's gone.
Okay, we got to keep the options small though, like
I'm thinking
1 of
2.
3.
Yeah,
Yeah.
3 tops. I think that's a good option.
Okay, all right, I'm cool with that.
Maybe
Then.
like an
I'm cool with
offensive,
that
a
then.
defensive, and a mobility thing.
Because you're right, it is very unique, 100%. I just like we're already talking about ability trees, we're already talking about weapon upgrade trees, we're already talking about item trees. So that's like 4, and now we're talking about a 5th optional choice.
There's nothing wrong with throwing shit at the table and seeing what sticks.
Valid,
all right, we
valid.
can
We are
can
in a
narrow it
testing
down,
cycle,
and we just did
100%.
offensive, defensive movement. I think those are like really good. And even if it's not offensive, defensive movement, maybe it's a tactical advantage or something like that. That's fine. But
I thought we were talking offensive versus defensive advantage, like we were gonna spawn a minion for us, or we were gonna throw a minigun on the fucking turret.
Right. So like offensive reward, a defensive style reward, or I think I don't know what you exactly had in mind for movement, but
I thought you said movement for some reason. Sorry.
I did.
Oh, gotcha. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like your movement abilities should be in your kit if you're gonna have one.
Now
you should
hear
have
me
one.
out though.
What if you had a 1-minute timer or something?
With a map design, with the design of the map I had in mind, what if that third mobility option was a zip line?
Or some sort of instant transportation, you mean? So, or faster transportation? So like you open up a
Exactly.
door that allows you to jump from one floor to another, or allows your jungle to jump from one floor to another.
Oh, so you take the node, you go back to your spawn, you buy a key, and then you go to the door and you unlock it.
Yeah, I don't mind a single use
like
thing,
that.
because I don't think these bonuses should be permanent.
Yeah, all of them should be single use, and then you have to regain those nodes again. They only last for so much time.
I don't even think regain those nodes. It's just like we drop shit from the sky every once in a while, and you got to fight over them, like supply drops in Fortnite or whatever.
Oh my god! So I'm picturing. Have you ever seen one of those chip fab places where they got the trolleys that go up overhead and shit, and like you're fighting in a fucking chip fab basically? But every so often, one of those will like fall off the rails, and it'll be like a drop that you have to fight over or something.
Yeah, that's kind of what
Hold
I'm
on.
thinking. That's about what I'm picturing.
Let me show this actually. Hold on.
But early game, we would just drop a ton of them.
Hopefully this will Google image pretty nicely. So these things up here are like all sorts of rails and stuff. These actually carry the chips, and they're just on their own. They're little robots that just meow all over the fucking place.
Yeah.
Anyway, but yeah, like it could be something like that, or that's more map design focused. But like it was just a thought.
Yeah, but conceptually, that's what we're talking about. Just dropping money all over the place, basically, for people to fight over.
Yeah.
Rather than adding a metric fuck ton of minions, which would be an issue for our AI controller, by the way. It only handles up to like 30 pretty well.
Right. So that would honestly make it a lot easier just having standalone nodes for the currency system even.
So, like, initially my thought for our minions, so to speak, was to group them and to have the AI controller handle each lane as its own minion. And then it would just, I'm controlling these 3 minions, that's it. And then what I'm talking to is controlling those minions.
I think that's how League probably does it, because it's each group individually. and it's just 3 different kinds of groups.
Yeah.
Okay, so I boiled it down. Let me know if you agree. I put mini games because this is what we're talking about, right? In some shape or form, right? Like something that just pops up and it's a new objective, and this is what and you can fight over it to get a reward or something like that, coming from seemingly random.
Let's call it an event-based game.
Okay, that's fine. So you're saying
It's triggered.
yeah, triggered by what? Out of
So
curiosity.
the pop-up objectives would start on game start. The minion
Yeah.
spawning would trigger off the first pop-up objective being taken.
And then there's a new one and a new one after each one completes, you mean?
Yeah, kinda.
How about there's a cooldown between?
Like the minion,
I don't mind that
the
idea,
minions
but like
spawn
once
when
it's
the
done,
pop-up objective drops. So they're walking to lane while you're fighting over this thing, and then once you're done fighting over this thing, you go to lane and do your thing with your minions.
timed with the lane minions.
And then once you're done with your minions, you go find another pop-up objective. And then maybe at like 10 minutes, we start spawning NPCs places or other objectives or whatever else. But I like the idea of like when dragon spawns in League of Legends. That's a moment, you know what I mean? Like you look up and you're like, oh shit, we gotta take that dragon now. Oh, I'm in bot lane. I gotta worry about who's here now.
That's
Okay.
fair.
That's
Just to keep us all on point, we have 5 minutes left to this stream.
Oh, yep.
so.
Thank you, Eric.
Let's continue with the wireframe real quick. See if we can at least wrap this up.
Mhm.
So we did kind of like a
Yeah, that's good.
timeline flow. So game start, first guns and abilities, getting to your lane, getting some money or XP. Some of these event based games you want
to buy
try
upgrades
to do.
should be the next
So
bit.
upgrades, like abilities and
Weapon attachments.
guns, attachments.
I think that
Minions, question mark.
Yeah, we could throw that on there for now. We can play with it. Move on though. After upgrades, we need respawn system.
I mean, that's
So you walk the lane, you fight over the objectives, you spawn your minions, you walk your minions, you fight the minions, you come back, you buy your upgrades, you go back, you do it again.
What are we fighting?
Each other and also minions.
But right, but what's the objective?
A nexus needs to be on there.
Yeah, but that's the master objective. So
yeah,
if we say nexus, are we just having a single objective? That's it? Or are we gonna do like towers and then the nexus, like multiple defense points kind of thing?
We should try towers first. If it doesn't go well, the nexus has to stay.
Okay.
Is that it? Do we need anything else for a like MVP? Maps. Yep.
Moodles.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, I guess models I'm gonna shy away from for a little bit. I've done it a couple times for a couple iterations of what we're doing here. They're always kind of clunky, and right now we have like some robot looking characters that we have a lot of textures for, so we're just gonna work off those until we get to where we want it to be, and then we can bring additional artists on to deal with the models.
Yeah. Well, the models is definitely later on down the timeline for sure, but it is something that will need to be done, whether it's the base character model, we run with that, or, you still need animations for abilities, you need models for those, but it doesn't matter, but it needs to be there.
Agreed.
Then we also need gameplay mechanics.
Agreed.
We also need a movement system, which kind of falls under gameplay mechanics.
Yeah, okay. I was about to say that.
Any other gameplay mechanics?
Combat, I guess. I mean, we have these things, but we might as well put them down
Yeah,
in
but
here
this
anyways.
is part of the wireframe.
Yep, agreed.
You know?
Agreed.
Movement, combat.
Progression system.
Yep.
And equipment system.
Money.
I think that's it.
/XP. That's like a tracking thing.
Yeah, I think we have that somewhere already, though. Oh, and then just upgrades, so that's more spending and less gaining. Menu system.
Menus. UI.
And then dedicated serving.
Servers.
Although we'll probably start with peer-to-peer still. Like, it'll work both ways. I'm doing the programming for both in case we can't get servers live.
All right. So I know that our...
I thought that was on my screen.
Okay, so I know that the... we got 1 minute.
Yep.
Right. I don't know if you guys wanted to stop right at 9.
We're
I don't give a shit if
trying
we go a
to
little bit
as
past.
best we can, but
I'm gonna respect you guys' time if one of you guys says you want to stop. Otherwise, I think another like 5 more minutes, break it down, kind of see what. Like I think we're onto stuff here. We're making some real progress, like putting stuff down. So I want to see how we're gonna achieve these next. Right. So we got our wireframe. How do we make this happen? Right. So at least we can walk away with some answers.
It looks like he is already there.
okay. So next steps then, to wrap it up, because we do need to go then. Next steps.
What time? Because it is 9. Sorry.
Yeah, at 9 we needed to go. But
well, you guys are good then.
Real quick. My last words, real quick.
Okay.
So this week then, if Cole, you can like send this around for us or drop it in Discord or something. We need to think about how we want to execute all of these things on the wireframe and what you specifically think you can take on.
Okay.
That's all I want to worry about. That's what I want to get done next week. I want to get the Trello put together and like tasks assigned and like dates set up for when we're going to do things.
Okay. Yep.
But that's it. That's all I want to worry about right now. Because if we can get there, the rest of this will go a lot smoother. And this was a big step towards that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Curious if I just want to. Do you guys want me to just take a picture? Or do you just want me to copy paste? I don't know how well it's gonna. I'm gonna try to copy paste and see what happens. Because if it keeps the check marks, it's not so bad. But
is there a way to like export this as a text document?
File? Oh, it copies it as an image.
Oh, that'll be fine as long as we can look it over.
Okay. I mean, I can always figure something out there, but let's see what it does. Yeah, it wants to use an image, which is kind of annoying, but that's fine. We'll do it that way, and then we'll do it this way as well. Worst case, I can always put this into like a Word doc, something like that, something that's easier to kind of break down, look over, review. We could even do something on Google Drive or something like that as well.
Sounds good.
Okay.
Definitely think we should, to be honest.
Something like that. That's fine. I just did this for sake of time today, so.
And last bit for the people who are actually watching this crazy shit. The link to the executable actually is in my Twitch panels down there. There's a Demons Run on Steam.
Can you
thing
please
there.
put that in the? Can you put that in the Discord as well?
Put the link to the Steam page?
I mean, yeah, I guess all of that stuff. If there's like
What I'm talking
Yeah.
about is, I don't know if you have my stream pulled up or anything, but
no.
if you go to my stream to the about, I got a bunch of panels for like when I'm streaming and stuff. It's got like my magic tracker and stuff like that, but I've got just a link to the Steam page. That's all it is. It just brings you to the game on Steam
Okay.
in all its magnificent glory. My god, this is so old. Oh. Yeah, we need to get this fixed, guys.
Yeah. I mean, it would be nice if we had like, I know Teams will like keep track of some of this stuff. I don't know. Discord is what we have though. But I think some of these links, I made a text channel, you know, as these things pop up, that we can just chuck it in that channel with the title or whatever it is, so that we know.
Okay.
Like something.
Yeah,
like
I'll toss
in fact,
it in
I'm gonna
there.
put it to the Trello board right
Just,
now.
when I'm not live. But are we good then for now, you think?
I don't know if I should share the link for that, but hopefully it doesn't allow any weirdo things happening. But yeah, so the link for the Trello board, just in case you do need to get back on it, is there. So
Sweet.
if you don't have it for some random
Super
reason.
helpful. I'll have to get those linked into the Discord server probably tonight, just so that anytime they get updated, we all know.
That would work too. I don't like what happened with the Trello card thing from before, where it just spammed a fuckload of things as we move things.
Yeah, we
I
gotta
think
figure something out.
just
with
leave it
that.
as a link so that we just, every time we meet up and talk, you just open up the Trello board and we go through what's changed, what's new, how's it going, kind of stuff. Just because personally, if I get like 3 or 4 messages one after another from a Discord, I don't care whose it is, I hit that mute button immediately.
Okay, so
And
maybe
that's what
we
happened to
link
me last time.
one board to that server, and we only update it when the executable gets altered.
Yeah, that's fine if
Okay.
it's like a more high level stuff, not like little issue tracking. Like I changed this text thing from and fixed a spelling mistake. Shouldn't be thrown on the Discord.
All right. Well, on that note, I think we're trying to wrap up.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
We good? Cool.
Think
We're
so.
good. All right. We'll catch you crazies later. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know who wants to watch this shit.
Good sesh, boys.
Yeah, for sure. I'd say it worked out. I don't know.
I can't remember. Oh, yeah, he bangs that old lady, and then they play that song from the 80s, Dave Bow Bow. What the hell's Dave Bow Bow? Dave Bow Bow. Oh, Dave Bow Bow. Guilty. Very cool. Cool. That's what I appreciate about you. Leslie, I typed your symptoms into the thing up here and it says you could have network connectivity problems.